Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for January 1st, 2023, and Happy New Year to everybody. I'm sure I'm going to screw up the year somewhere in there and say 2022 again, but we do have some news. It's a light week with these holiday weeks, but there's some Transformers news. There's some G.I. Joe news. We're going to go through several news and rumors. Quick update to Thundercats, Electrocharger. I got some thoughts on this. A little bit of Star Wars stuff, a little miscellaneous going on also. Coming up. Starting out with what's new at Show Z, we have the X-Transbots MX-19B Pulpus. It's a Quintesson Inquisitors. There's two different versions. There's the A and the B, and to be honest, I don't really know the difference between the two. Made of ABS, and die-cast, almost 10 inches tall. This kind of goes along with their Quintesson they made last year, $120. Also coming into stock, or in stock now, is the wonderful Trans WT01 White Ronin Drift, and it's $110. It stands approximately 8.27 inches tall, made of die-cast and two different types of plastic. Main figure, great sword, two broad edge swords, and a water slide decal for this guy, and high-end metallic paint. And lastly, kind of an update to last week, coming soon, like incoming soon, this Magic Square MSB49 Spider Gears and MSB50 Wind Charger. They're not being sold separately. They're sold as a set for $55. That's less than $30 a piece for these figures, so I think it's pretty good value right there. And I ordered one of each. They canceled one and said, hey, it's just a set of two. They're not separate. So anyhow, pretty cool though. This is an interesting set. Some great figures that we don't have good representations in the Legend scale. Lastly, Shozy is doing something new starting in 2023, and my code for support your favorite reviewer code is just going to be TH. Just capital T, capital H, two letters. That's it. That's my code. Enter it there and you support me as a reviewer. Now, I send a lot of people to Shozy because I save so much money there, then you guys save money there, and then people give me heads up when things come in stock there. I'll give you guys heads up when things come in stock there or up for pre-order and all that kind of stuff. So I try to stay on top of all that. Anyway, I think it'd be a whole lot of fun just to see exactly how many people I've sent to Show Z and how many people I've saved money. The code shouldn't be active until Wednesday, though. I don't know why. So getting into some Master PC stuff, we've got a few recolors coming from X-Transbots. This is the MX-88 Diamond Edition, and it's just a recolor of their Trailbreaker. Is it Aegis? I was going to say is it Aegis, but looks pretty good in blue. And here is a yellow recolor for MX-8Y. Y for yellow. I don't know what edition they call this. So I'm not really sure what the whole point of the recolors are. I mean, obviously make more money, but what's it based on? All that kind of stuff. But still, if you're interested. So these recolors are usually done in really, really short production runs. They don't make a whole lot because they know it's not going to appeal to the broad audience. So this is kind of those small, probably 500, and that's why there's multiple different colors that they're putting out of the same things. They're also doing a blue recolor of Hoist. I'm sure there's going to be more different colors of their figures of the Hoist and all that. But this one is called the Peon Diamond version and looks pretty cool. Here's the alt mode, and says Wrecker on the side, so a pretty interesting repaint. I don't know if this is more of a purple than a blue, so yeah, it looks good. So Planet X is putting out more pictures, well, mostly just this picture, of the PX-CO3, which looks really good. Very nice paint job to this thing. This looks very fantastic. Yeah, I said Leo Prime. It's Victory Leo, and it says Nimios. But yeah, it's still great looking alt mode. Looks pretty good overall. And it's kind of one of those things that I kind of felt like third party is doing a really good job with the Star Sabers that are out there and with all of the, well, Victory Leos, right? Here's the alt mode, which looks pretty good overall. With the alt mode, I'm not really sure exactly how this is supposed to look based on like the vintage or the cartoon, all that kind of stuff, but this thing looks like really long. I kind of thought this would bulk it up a little bit more, but maybe I'm wrong with that. But that's Planet X PXCO3. And so we got pictures of Metagate's G04 Air King, and this is their take on a Pterosaur, which I'm a little surprised. I actually thought it was going to be like super shiny and look like it's Transmetal 2, but this looks like kind of a premium version of what you'd expect from a standard, maybe a standard masterpiece version of a Pterosaur, looking like it would fit very well with your G1s or with your Trans Arts. It looks like it could go both ways. And yeah, that does look really good to me. So I like the way this figure looks in the bot mode. Here it is in the alt mode. And I'm trying to pull up a little bit more information. It's about 7.87 inches tall. Supposed to have been out this year. Well, now last year. Should have been out last year. But should be releasing pretty soon overall. Cool looking figure. Great Beast Wars edition. I look forward to it. Just hope the quality's there. So Light Toys is making a couple of things. They're showing some renders, and they're showing some actual artwork and pictures and stuff that is interesting. So here is something that's supposed to be coming that is sort of like what my understanding is like pre-Megatron, like Megatron before he was Megatron, and that's the character. That's what I'm understanding. I don't know a whole lot about it, so truthfully, I'm looking forward to learning more about this, but cool-looking characters. You know, that's the thing about third-party companies like Toys and them making stuff that is very, very obscure. This is so obscure that I don't really know much about it. I'm pretty sure we'll all know a lot about it pretty soon because the buzz is going to be out there, but they look pretty cool and pretty interesting. So this is another one from Like Toys. It's the SG Nightbird, like Shattered Glass Nightbird, and I'm not 100% sure if this is something that they are going to produce or if this is a custom someone else is working on of theirs, but I'm pretty sure it's from them. A lot of the problem is the translation doesn't really make sense. It's not very informative. So with that, I look forward to seeing more on this project too. But pretty cool. Fembot does not transform, but I gotta say, a lot of the Fembots might not need to transform. This might be where we're at. Give us an RC, right? Because that's what we need, a perfect RC. So we got in-hand images of Trailbreaker, which should be coming out now, anytime now. But anyway, I don't think it looks quite as bad as some of the other pictures showed it looking. Maybe this person is really able to show it off in a better light, better angles, who knows, but I don't really think it looks that bad. It's a lot of people are bashing this thing like crazy, but it's got obviously some side openings, all that kind of stuff, but does look like it's got a few pluses to it too, maybe a few minuses. But let's check out the alt mode. Alt mode looks pretty good, pretty big. I mean, this is a pretty good size alt mode, and it's kind of fun to see the G1 on there. So you can have some fun with some G1. Looks like that's what they're doing right here. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. I still will probably take a look at it because I really like the direction Takara is going with more affordable pricing and giving us characters that are not 2.0. So, I mean, Takara stays on this roll. It'll be pretty awesome. A lot of people will be getting the fourth party version of this if they get it at all. New Age is putting out some repaints, which I don't really even understand what all the different repaints are, but they're doing Thundercracker, Skywarp, and a couple of others, quite a few others, actually. This is the H14C Leviathan, which, I don't know, an excuse to put out their secrets again. My understanding, I stuck with the McFans Toys K-Over size of DX9. I just don't care enough to be spending like 50 or 60 or 70 bucks on these. I don't know how much they are. I didn't look at it, but I don't want to spend that much money on more Seekers that just look a little bit better than the ones I have. And I do believe, though, New Age is the best when it comes to Seekers. They're also putting out clear backdraft in the H46T backdraft, so lots of stuff going on here with this Inferno clear. They'll do a clear everything. If you are into clear, New Age is your company. They're also putting out a clear yellow version, the H47T Daedalus, and yeah, looks pretty cool too if you're into, of course, the clear and you're into that mold. And then they're also doing H46B Wildfire, and this is a green one. So yeah, definitely tons of repaints and new clear versions from New Age. We got an update from Pengu Toys. This is pretty much just the colored plastic prototype. There's no paint apps added to it, and there's still going to be a lot more to it, but this is a very early on prototype. We saw renders like a month ago, and now they're at prototype stage, so that's pretty cool. It does look very good. I've got one up here that's, I guess, a McFans Toys or something like that, and it's okay, but this one looks a lot better than the one I have. I don't know if I'm chasing perfection, but I think this is, if it's the right price, I'm definitely going to be out on this. I think it's going to be a pretty good figure overall. And a lot of people say it's a lot like the DX9, and looking at it, it does have a lot of similarities to the DX9. Maybe it is just a small version of DX9. So we got a bunch of pictures, updated pictures from Magic Square of these two guys. And we talked about them in the Show Z segment, but two for $55. I'm excited for them. I think they look good, and they look better than what I've got right now, or one of them I don't even have. I don't have a wind charger, so. This posing and how they pulled this off is amazing. Just the pictures they're taking, it's fantastic. And just kind of what they're doing here looks like a whole lot of fun, and it's kind of like an inspiration. Maybe I should do some of that on my shelf, but I kind of don't have room. I cram all these on one shelf and just call it a day, but still, looks really good, really exciting. Look forward to these guys. Oddly enough, not a lot of mainline Hasbro news during the holiday weeks, but we're seeing the Fallen, Wave 10, Leader, the Fallen, is out in Canada for Rise of the Beast, which is interesting, so Leader class showing up, and this is the Fallen, looks similar to like what we saw in Revenge of the Fallen, but definitely a modern uptake and a different look to it, so be pretty cool. Well, it's Studio Series, so yeah, Studio Series, so it is supposed to be based on the Revenge of the Fallen movie. So there's a core class Thundercracker coming, and what I gotta say is I'm surprised they're not cranking out 30 to 50 of these core class $10, well $12 figures now, like crazy, because first of all, they can take on the Legends market directly, give decent enough figures that they'd be fill-ins for Legends characters, so that you don't have to spend $30, $50, $70 for that. But they gotta be cheap, easy to make, easy to transform, and kids can get their hands on them. Core class, it's not for me. Some of them are though. I really like that. Is it Daniel? Did I just get the Daniel and the cassettes? Those are great too. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there that could be crossover between maybe made for kids and made for collectors. But I don't see anything wrong with these. Keep cranking them out. D-Day Designs is coming out with an upgrade kit for the TM2 Megatron, Transmetal 2 Megatron, and it has a new chest piece, head pieces, new hand, tail pieces, and of course his Judge wig, as he famously showed off towards the end of the Beast Wars series. So some updated stuff here for yours. I don't have the figure yet, so I really don't know how much need it has for all of this. This kind of shows everything in action right there, looking pretty good. I think it's a great looking figure already. I was just surprised, a little bit surprised that the upgrade kit's already coming out. And a couple of things I thought would have been cool if they would have maybe done leg extensions and stuff to make him a little taller, but I don't have him yet. Maybe he's plenty tall enough. So we got some updated pictures of this Legacy Evolution Deluxe Junkion. So yet another Junkion, and I think it's kind of cool to just flesh out with different Junkions. This is way different than I kind of imagined. I imagined the KFC route where they just kind of make the same Junkion over and over with slight different variations, but these are way different, and on one hand I don't know how I feel about it, on the other hand I kind of like it, so it kind of seems to make sense that they should all look way different, not exactly the same, but just slight retools here and there. So here is the bot mode. Let's take a look at the alt mode. And the alt mode, it seems very reminiscent of a Junkion, but it's different. So it is smaller, and it should be the lower price point instead of like 33, which is the new price point of these Voyagers. It should be 23, the new price point of the Deluxe, but maybe you catch a sell. Still looks pretty cool. So I have pictures of this Optimus Primal Smash Changer. I want to talk about this not because I think it's great and I want to buy it and I want to have this, but this is something that I thought for a long time, even in the 90s, when I looked at the Optimus Primal and I thought, he doesn't look a whole lot different from one mode to the other. And I was like, why is there so many steps to get from one to the other? It seems like it would be like a 3-step process. And they're making it I think a 3-step process, but it's a Smash Changer. I imagine it doesn't take much to get it from one mode to the other, and it's kind of ingenious. This is a good character for it. Again, this is for kids, but it's one of the things that I was thinking back in the 90s. This would be a great way to have a 3-step change figure. It should not have been that many steps. Not that it was difficult or really hard or anything, but I just felt like they were over-engineering something that could have been simple, just like this. So there are some eHobby exclusive official Super Deformed Transformers collector cards. This is a Wave 5, and there's some keychains and stuff. But the thing about this is there's going to be Superion, Minosaur, Broadside, Astro Train, G2, Optimus Prime, and Iguanus, RID, Bruticus, And with that, I'm not so much into the cards. I know people get really excited about cards for your Masterpiece Transformers. They have a collection of cards, a display, and all that. I just put them back in the box, and that's the way I am with them. I just make sure they stay with the boxes. Paraphernalia that was already with it. So I'm not that big into it, but I did like the original vintage cards, and I got a deck of cards that match those vintage cards, which is kind of fun, kind of cool. But with this, some people are super into this, and I understand why they're super into this. And but I'm not, and I'm not into Super Deformed either. But then again, a lot of people like Super Deformed, so pretty cool, pretty interesting. I wonder how well it sells. According to TFW 2005, there's a new product that's coming out. There's supposed to be Rhinox Classic Muscle Costume, Cheetor Muscle Costume, Optimus Prime Muscle Costume, Bumblebee Muscle Costume for toddler and all that kind of stuff. And then accessories, an Optimus Prime Blaster, Bumblebee Plasma Cannon, and a Bumblebee Stinger Sword. So this roleplay stuff, kind of fun. Stuff that I have to admit, when I was a kid, I would have liked to have had this. I mean, you know, look at like G1, of course, and this kind of stuff. So pretty exciting still, and exciting that you're trying to capture the youth, because, you know, we won't fit in these. Okay, so I'm officially going to transition into G.I. Joe with the talk of a crossover. So they're talking about the next crossover possibly being a new collaborative with the Thunder Machine, G.I. Joe, and becoming a Soundwave. So I don't know if that's really something that's going on, and are we going to get, of course, that Driver? Are we going to be getting Thrasher carded? Is he going to be carded? Is he going to be just in the, like they call them the red back cards, that kind of stuff? So not sure what's going to happen with all of that, but it would be pretty interesting if they really do it. It says it's actually supposed to have Zartan and Zorana with it. Why not Thrasher? So that's something that doesn't make sense to me, but Zartan and Zorana with it. And plus a Ravage with Chain included. Still, a lot of stuff. This is still considered rumor, but it wouldn't surprise me. It actually wouldn't surprise me at all. They're really liking these crossovers. But one thing about these crossovers is I think they do the Joe vehicle first. So that's what they do, and then the bot, the Transformer bot, is a way second. Alright, so we've got some package images of the Sky Striker, which is shipping now. I got my shipment notifications, which will be coming soon. And it's one of those things that back during the funding, I barely funded it, two of them. And I was thinking that it was a waste of money if it was just the Sky Striker for $230, or a Sky Striker in 2 figures. But it turns out it's like a bundle deal, and it seems like a better value now that it's showing up than it was back then. Even though I think I would have rather have seen Sky Strikers on store shelves, I didn't have a choice in the matter. And it was funded without me. It was fully funded before I even signed up for it, and I wouldn't have jumped on it if it didn't fund. I would have let it die. But anyhow, here it goes. I would have rather seen it on the shelf, so I would have let it die. Here's how it looks packaged inside with the extra tier figures and all that kind of stuff. So pretty interesting with that. And then there's the extra stuff going on the side there. So it's kind of interesting. It's one of the questions I had, like, how are they going to package this? How are they going to do all of this kind of stuff? And that shows you how they're doing it. Here are some of the figures that are packed in there. So we have Ripcord with, he was at Night Force, and then we have, of course, Ace, and then we have Scarlet in Ace's uniform. So Ace painted up and put a Scarlet head on. That's kind of cool. Radar, Interceptor. And this is really what sold me on it. I'm not going to lie. This sold me on it was the Cobra Commander with the what is it, Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. And then you got a Trooper in there, I guess. And so I didn't even, in my mind, I couldn't remember what all figures came with this, to tell you the truth. It was just Cobra Commander sold me on it, and I counted the number of figures and said they think they're worth $20 a figure now. So the value's there, and that made the value. So going forward with all these HasLabs, I really don't want to see a $100 vehicle and 6 figures, but I think that's how it's going to be. So now there's rumors spinning around about the next HasLab going to be a 16 scale G.I. Joe Classified Dragonfly. And it's so weird because this news broke literally 2 hours after I posted my Retro Wednesday video about Dragonfly and Tigerfly. And so I post that video, and then I'm hearing people talking about this on YouTube and other places, and I was thinking, does this have anything to do with me posting my video? What's going on? Why are they talking about Dragonfly today? Why is today a Dragonfly day? I had no idea, but it's pretty cool because they gave dimensions that make sense. 3 foot long. So the original one's like 18 inch, and so now this is 3 foot long, and then it's going to be 10.5 inches tall, and it's just everything about this sounds pretty good. It says it's going to have 6-inch figures of Wild Bill, Airborne, and a flight stand if all tiers were unlocked. And so if this is okay, if this thing is $300, and then you get a handful of figures, I could see it funding very well. A lot of people say, well, it doesn't make sense. Let's get a Vamp. A Vamp is the absolute most boring vehicle ever made and conceived of in G.I. Joe. The Vamp itself. So why would you want that? Why would you want that? Maybe get a different version of the Vamp or something like that. But just a straight up Vamp's too boring. This, I would pay $300 for this. I wouldn't pay $300 for a Vamp. End of story. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't be in on it. Well, unless the figure is made up for it. But still, really cool, really awesome. But at the end of the day, I would like all the drivers available at retail. And this kind of takes it out of retail. So then there's a plus and a minus and a good and a bad to all this. By the way, rumor only. Next thing on my G.I. Joe list here, what's going on? This is like a lot going on this week. I've been hearing rumors. Now, I haven't seen it myself. That's the problem. I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard about this. I've heard that Five Below is getting these figures in, and they're selling pretty quick for $5. And that was my guess. When Walmart marks them down to $5, they're going to go fast. Not that they're horrible figures. They're just not figures we wanted. The figures themselves are okay figures. For $5, you can fodder for customizers, or you could just have cheap classified figures. But they're nowhere near worth the 20. Somewhere they're going to break down to the price point of $5. And it doesn't surprise me that people have already said they found them at Five Below, or they've seen them at Five Below. So we have seen Super 7's Mandora and Electrocharger, but we've got an actual in-hand picture of this, but not taken out of the package or anything. Just like this. This is all we get. We get this or a close-up of her in the package, but you can see all she comes with. Now, this is sort of an obscure type of character, but she was actually in several of the shows, several of the episodes. It's just strange LJN never made her. I mean, they made Chitara and Pumaira and some other female characters. They weren't shy about that. The Wily Kit or Cat, Wily Kit Cat, one of those as a girl. So with that, this is really a nice looking figure overall. Does carry the standard buck that they sort of seem to use with female figures. Here is the Electrocharger. Now I was not going to order this, but I've had a lot of comments explaining why people are excited for this. Because A, they never had it, they always wanted it. There'll be no other way to get this in anywhere in the near future. And here's the thing, $150 is a lot of money for this. But I saw how big it is. It actually is pretty big. It's like 10 inches long. And so that's a pretty good size vehicle for this. But trying to track down vintage vehicles complete, you're getting into the ballpark of $75 to $100. And this is something that is obscure and never get made. So I see the price on that, so I went ahead and jumped in. I'm getting one. Next story I want to slide into before we get into any other stuff is Target versus Walmart, and this is what I'm seeing in my area. And this is a few Targets and a few Walmarts, and I'm seeing Target darn near empty, like nothing there. And that's because they had decent sales. Some stuff went to clearance, some stuff was just sales. But the fact that they cleared out all that lingering inventory, or a lot of it, with a huge clearance, and they did that like 3 months ago, they took a quarter hit, and now they get new product. Now I like that they get new product. You go to Walmart, you see just a cluster of old stuff. They're finally putting on clearance, and they're putting it on like 20% clearance or something. Like the stuff's going to have to go to like 75% off to liquidate out of that place. But I don't know if you're seeing it in your area like I'm seeing it here, but I'm seeing Targets are the place to go to get new stuff. Walmart's the place to go find the old stuff they just don't want to put on sale or clearance or get rid of, and they're fully stocked with old stuff that nobody wants. That's what I'm seeing. Are y'all seeing the same? So there's a Medicom, what's this? Return of Superman, Mayfax, Cyborg Superman. So Mayfek Cyborg Superman looks really cool. This is something that people are getting in hands now, something ordered. I missed this whole release, but I don't want to spend $105 on one Superman figure, but it's simply because of the fact there's so many Supermans out there. This thing looks awesome, though. It's a cyborg Superman. I don't know much about it, again, but I think it looks cool, and I like everything about this. I like the soft goods cape. I like the wire in it. I like the look of the figure, and I probably would rather have him non-cyborg, but they probably already made a non-cyborg. I don't know. But I think it looks cool. If you're interested in this is one of those things that probably is not going to get a re-release and a reissue. It's probably a one-time deal, one time ever, $105. You can get it at BBTS, maybe some other places. Now, there's not much Star Wars news, but I do want to talk about this. So, we saw Dorkside Toys go out of business, and some say that its telltale signs were there all year of 2022, but it went really fast in the last month or so. That the rumor broke that they were going under, and then they announced like a week and a half later, 2 weeks later, that they were going under. Now, Old Republic Collectibles goes under silently. It's just boom, they're closed. I've never ordered from them, so I don't know much about them. But the thing is, we're going to see more and more of this, I bet, because with hard times, you're just looking to see Walmart, Target. They can weather this. They can weather this downturn. But little independent people, the smaller companies, smaller sellers, they can't. They can't just hold on to this product that doesn't sell and keep paying bills and large bills and keep paying for $75,000 for this next shipment, but they're only bringing in a couple $1,000s from the old stuff that they have. They can't keep doing it. You can only do it for so long, and then you just have to close the doors, and there it is. So there's literally no real new news. There's some stuff here and there going on with Star Wars, but nothing really new. Some Hot Toys stuff getting shown off. The big thing is in January 4th. So here, this upcoming week, we should start seeing new episodes of Bad Batch Season 2. And I look forward to that. My family looks forward to that. We still have Disney Plus for now. I don't know when it renews, but we're going to go ahead and watch it. So somebody did say, just renew it to watch your Bad Batch or whatever show. But they have constant stream of stuff coming out. And I do kind of look forward to it. I think it's going to be interesting. But let's see how it goes. Bad Batch. I think that was one of the better things that they've done with the franchise lately. And so with that, hey, high hopes for Season 2. Let me know what you think about this week's weekly news interview. What other stuff's going on out there that I missed on this holiday week? Everybody have a wonderful New Year's Day. Enjoy a great start to 2023. If you have to work, I'm sorry. I hope that you can have some fun and some family time somewhere in there. I remember those days. Like, subscribe to Darehanger out.